and welcome to the October edition of Derby County Academy in Focus. The 2023-24 season is in full swing. A little later we'll check on recent results and upcoming fixtures for Derby's under-21s and under-18s. Plus we'll hear for the first time from Derby's new head of academy technical development. But first, Dajaune Brown has made a flying start to the new Premier League 2 campaign, and his performances have caught the eye of Paul Warne's first-team coaching staff as well. The teenager has come right through the ranks here at Moor Farm.
Yeah, so I came up in my grassroots team. I got scouted when I was about 7 or 8, and then came to Derby and stayed there since then.
Can you remember how you felt when you first got the call to... Was it come in for a trial or what?
Yeah, it was a trial for 3 clubs with 3 other players from my grassroots team. So we all came, went to all clubs at the same time, and then 2 of us picked here. So yeah, we stayed there from I was about 8.
And what really sticks out for you from I guess it must be over a decade that you've been here. What's that journey through the age groups been like for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Like, the coaches are top here. You know, they help you develop well as a player. They look for like your key attributes and try to build on it well. And I think that's a great way. And that's what's helped me get to where I am today.
What are your key attributes, you think?
Speed, hold-up play, my finishing as well.
There's a conversation that I've had with a lot of younger players, older players as well actually, where they'll say, oh, I actually started as a central defender and now I'm a winger, or I started in goal and now I'm a striker. Have you always been a striker?
No, when I was younger, I used to play on the wing a bit, but it was like wing and striker. And then came to Derby and was put striker. And then about under 13s, they tried me in centre back, and then I didn't like it there, so then went back to striker.
Did you say to them, I'm not a fan of this, or did they sort of know?
Nah, I wasn't bad at it, but like they just tried it and then put me back up, and then just kept me up front after that.
And how have the last sort of 6 months in particular been for you? Because you're now on the fringes of the first team, and you were with the first team quite a lot during pre-season.
Yeah, so it's been different. Obviously, you know, being around more men than people my age has been different, but I think I've adapted well to it. And obviously, at the end of the day, it's to play football. So, and I know how to do that. So, no matter how much things change around, I'm still playing football.
What are the big changes? Is it simply a case of everything is that higher standard, quicker, faster, stronger?
That type of thing, like more intensity and stuff like that, like around there compared to playing under 18s football. It's a lot different.
Who are your sort of heroes? Who do you look up to in the game?
In the game? Well, recently Haaland is like, obviously he's done well last season. And I feel like his style of play is similar to mine. He, you know, gets like tap-ins mostly, which is what really I do and stuff, so.
Yeah, you look at him and think, I can take this from him, I can take that from him.
Yeah, type of thing.
And what about in the building? Who have been sort of the bigger influences here?
Like Chris Martin, when I was younger, when I was a striker, I used to look up to him. And Darren Bent, when he was here, I used to look up to them while I was playing.
Did you ever have conversations with them? Did you ever get to meet them?
I got a photo with Darren Bent, but I didn't talk to him.
We'll see if we can sort it out for you at some stage. I want to ask you about family, because we were in the room when you had your contract signing and the photos, and a lot of the family were here for that. Big smiles. I mean, how important have they been? What sort of part have they played in the journey for you?
Yeah, they've played a massive part. Obviously, when you're younger, and even growing up until I could drive, they had to take me everywhere. So for them to do that, especially my dad used to take me everywhere. And my younger sister, she used to come when it was raining and that. When she was in like a pushchair, she used to just be sat in the rain watching, seeing my brother. So yeah, they played a massive part in supporting me to get to where I am.
Does she still come to games now? Or?
Yeah, she still comes to games.
Not in a pushchair?
Nah.
This season, I mean, you've started really well. 3 goals in 6 games, I think. I know results haven't been what you would want them to be, but from your perspective, have you been pleased with how you've played?
Yeah, on a personal level, yeah, I feel like I've played well. I've done my job, and I've tried to help the team by scoring and got a few assists as well. So I think I've done well. I'm proud of myself on that type of level.
Do you think you've had the points that the performances deserve in the 21s?
Now I feel like it's a tough league. Like the opponents are hard, but I feel like we've played well. Certain times we haven't, but I feel like we've played well and do deserve a bit more. But I feel like we're improving now, and I feel like the results will start to come.
And you've had a few tastes of things with the first team in a couple of matchday squads. You've got some minutes on the pitch with the first team as well. How has that felt for a guy who's been here since he was 7, 8 years old?
Yeah, that's what I've dreamed about doing since I was a kid. So to actually be able to do it now, it feels really good and makes me proud and happy to make like my family proud who come and support me as well.
Do you feel like you're close to becoming a regular? And do you have conversations with the first team staff about what they want to see you improve on?
Yeah, they really want me to improve on like running behind and stuff because I hold the ball up a lot, but they want me to be more dynamic as a striker, so like running behind and stuff. I don't think I'm going to be close to a regular starter in the first team because obviously there's Colo and new strikers coming in and stuff like Washi and JJ, so I feel like I've got my place in the 21s team, so I'll just do my best there and keep trying to impress, obviously, the gaffer and Rich, so keep me involved.
But you see it as a challenge, right? To try and get past some good players.
Yeah, it's what, obviously, talk about taking people's shirts. That's my aim, but there's still a long way to go, so I've just got to keep working.
I'm sure we'll see plenty more of Dajaune as the season goes on. His goals haven't helped Derby to too many points in Premier League 2 so far. Defeats to Sunderland and Brighton most recently. But the young Rams did enjoy a thumping win over Lincoln in the Central League Cup. And there is plenty of Central League action coming up for them with visits to Mansfield, Notts and Huddersfield in the diary. The 21s will also host Manchester City in the league before the end of October and head to Middlesbrough too. And we'll check in on the under-18s a little later in the programme. Now, there were some big changes at the Derby County Academy over the summer. One of them, the arrival of former Norwich City defender Craig Fleming. He's come in as Derby's first head of Academy Technical Development.
Yeah, I think in simple terms, I think I've been brought in to help implement a playing style for the PDP phase, 16s to 21s. So in possession, out of possession, when you've just lost it, when you've just won it, try and implement a clear playing style. So when you see a Derby team play, you should recognise it. That's the basic role, I think.
And who's deciding on that playing style?
Matt Hale brought me in, but I think in conjunction with ownership, Stephen, people around it, that's the kind of, that it's been brought down from the top.
And why is there a feeling that there needs to be a distinctive style that people will recognise as Derby County?
I think it's good. I think it's a mark of any good team. If you see really good teams, they're quite. I mean, if you turned off the colour off a TV screen, you'd most definitely see a Manchester City team or a Liverpool team, a style of play. So I think tactically it's very important. I think for the lads' development, it's very important. I think so they're playing a style. So for instance, we want to be a possession-based team that when we haven't got the ball, we win it back quickly. When we win it, we attack quickly. Just good traits that whoever the manager is going to go, cool, I like that, look at that in the academy.
In terms of your relationship with Matt Hale, you mentioned, known him from your time at Southampton. Tell us about your time at the club, because you had a lot of success there in a couple of different roles. Yeah,
I went in there as under-18s, assistant coach, then 18s lead coach, then 23s coach, and then Ralph came in. I took the game along with another coach as a caretaker for one game at Wembley against Tottenham, but knowing that Ralph had got the job. And then basically 2 weeks with Ralph, struck a good relationship up, bit of trust, and then spent 4 years in the Premier League working as his assistant coach. So yeah, it was a good experience, a very good experience.
How different was the experience of, I guess, the scrutiny of a Premier League job compared to academy side?
The scrutiny didn't bother me. The one that I started playing, I played in the Premier League the last year of the old First Division, so I've been in football a very long time. I think as a learning process, just being in and around the very, very best of the world, as a coach, it was amazing. I mean, it's like going to Swiss finishing school. Those 4 years I probably learned, well, I didn't, not probably, I did learn more than I'd learned in the previous 30-odd years in football. You
mentioned the playing career and you accomplished a lot as a player. Did you always have an eye on coaching?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. When I was a kid growing up in Yorkshire, the next village and who was a member at the same golf club as me. It's when I first started playing, was Eric Harrison. He was the old class of '92 coach for Man United, brought through Beckham and Scholes and Giggs and all these guys. So me and him became really friendly, really close. And he's passed away, bless him now, but he was the one that got me into coaching in the early '90s when I was still playing. So it's down to him, really.
Do you sort of consciously take things from the various coaches that you work with as a player, or is it a more sort of natural and unconscious process?
No, for sure. I think the best coaches, the best leaders in the world, you just take the best out of the... I mean, that's where I think the 4 years in the Premier League, you see, Pep's counter-pressing and possession-based football. You see Jurgen's counter-attacking, high-tempo pressing. You see the Italian, the Conte and people like that sit back and counter-attack. You can see how all the different styles of football, how the very best do it. So, yeah, for sure, you'd be foolish not to take a little bit of everybody that you've worked against.
Coming back to your role here, what does a typical day look like for you? I mean, we've just pulled you out of one meeting now. Is there a typical day, or is it all a little bit different?
It's varied. At the moment, I'm spending more time with the 21s because the 18s coach, Danny, has come from Southampton as well, and he understands there's a slightly different way of pressing and counter-pressing, very German, that I learnt from Ralph and the Red Bull guys. So I'm working with Jake and Keith and Robbo with the 21s a little bit more than the 18s. But it's basically just trying to get ideas, the individual behaviours for the lads, team behaviours, team shapes, that if you see a Derby team play and they're in possession, they're playing with the right behaviours in the right shape. If they're out of possession and they're pressing, they've got the right behaviours off the right shape. So it's just trying to implement those things that if you screenshot a game and stop it, you should recognise whether they're in possession, out of possession, just won it or just lost it.
How does it work then because obviously the teams have their own individual coaches as well, and I guess you sit above that. So how does it sort of work in terms of running a session and you coming into it?
Ideally, what we're trying to do is work super closely with, they've got, and what I've got to emphasise is that they've done a lot of good work before. Derby have done, from afar, they've always been an academy that's had success and played the right way and brought kids through. So it's not a revolution, it's just evolution. It's just polishing a few little bits. So it's just working closely with the coaches, making sure the German side of it's a little bit different, the counter-play, gegenpressing, so that they fully understand that, but they're delivering it. They're the coaches, they deliver it, they pick the teams, they do all the tactics. It's just me trying to, like I keep going back to it, that if you see a Derby team, you should recognise what phase of the game they're in. The lads are doing the right things, with the right behaviours, and the team's in the right shape.
How close is the relationship with the first team with Paul Warne? Because I guess the aim is to bring players through.
Yeah, for sure. I think they are fundamentally super great guys. They've been so supportive. They're open, genuinely been very helpful towards me. And they're just good people, to be honest with you. I think they've been very welcoming. Like I said, they're very open. And like I said, they just want players, young players, to come through that they can trust and can play high tempo, high pressing kind of game, which, to be honest with you, any manager in the Football League would want.
Craig Fleming there, who, as you were hearing, will work across the age groups going forward, including with the under-18s. They've suffered back-to-back defeats in the most recent games, winning at Stoke in the fixture before that. Derby sit mid-table at the moment in Premier League North with 7 points from 7 games. Trips to West Ham and Everton coming up before the end of the month for the 18s. Both Blackburn and Arsenal will visit Moor Farm in November. And that's it for this edition of Derby County Academy in Focus. As ever, you can stay right up to date on the website dcfc.co.uk. Until next time, goodbye.